So so architect sees, it's like a software architect. It sees the capabilities. It knows what software is out there. It tells you what you have to write. Boss manages the writing of software, but it's not a very effective system. It's mainly just used for maintenance operations on the internal code of the system. Having internal code bases is kind of a ridiculous way to organize functionality, I think. Architect actually is a much better way to organize functionality because you can actually cluster the functionality and treat it in the actual dimensionality of the data, as opposed to just mapping everything to individual projects. But obviously, if you need to develop code, it has to go somewhere. So that's why we have a project basis. I've been creating little, smaller projects so that they don't draw away from the bigger projects. But that's where an ontology would come in precisely. You could size everything up exactly with that. So architect uses that RTE, recognizing textual entailment stuff.
Requirements have at some times in the past been managed by PSE. That's the planning, scheduling, and execution system. But PSE is kind of defunct. It needs to be brought out again. Whenever a new capability, they add it to the Unilong client. Unilong has automatic message routing, auto verification, logging, RPC. One of the outstanding things that needs to be done is to make these into some type of daemon like you have in XE entity structure. And I've had trouble daemonizing these for various reasons.
So is that U-shell?
Down here is U-shell. There's the commands for U-shell. It's just Emacs shell.
Okay, so but that connects to Unilong, right?
Yeah. Unilong is just, it's Unilong client, and then it sends messages to Unilong. And so, like for instance,
so but the U in U-shell doesn't have anything specific.
It stands for Unilong.
Okay.
What?
What is Unilong?
Unilong stands for Universal Language. It's the motto of the Unilong project is no sooner said than done. It's an interesting system that I've written to increase my effectiveness in terms of solving problems. One thing that it allows me to do is, like I said earlier, I can send messages between agents so that they can all use each other's functionality. If you're looking for examples of multi-agent systems, there's COAB's Grid, which is the government system where all the military AIs communicate with each other, and so it's kind of modeled off of that. There's also FIPA OS and a few other multi-agent systems, and so this is like poor man's multi-agent system, and it just does a few things right now, but it's where it's going that I like. As I said, it does also. I have a database of quite a few Okay, so this is at 24,000 right now. Okay, it's at 5,000 entries. I went crazy and I deleted the system, and I lost 3 years of entries. So it had a lot more contents about what we should do with the different software before it was deleted. And I have a tool called Corpus, which is supposed to analyze these entries text clustering and machine learning to the Unilog log file. And it was doing the automatic classification. But Corpus relies on Critic, and Critic isn't complete. So that's, you would use the Critic system to review the entries and assert things about them using the free KDS system. All of the systems really, they're kind of like eigenvectors in some vector space, because you have to add, you're trying to increase your solution space. And you can add it so much in this dimension, but you're going to be lacking in that dimension. So you have to, add you have to add to the other systems as well. So here's an example of it. Forgot to pick up paycheck, need to go pick that up ASAP. That's an observation, it's a past definition, it's a complex statement. It's complex because there's more than one sentence, or maybe not, but it thinks it's a complex statement. And then it's a Verber task definition. Verber is a planning system that actually, you can see it computes actual plans for movement, doing stuff. But Verber is not highly prioritized anymore, because but it ultimately it should be, because it can make things a lot more efficient. So yeah, Unilog is a multi-agent system. It communicates with Emacs. For instance, I can't show you now, but it actually logs which buffers I'm reading into an SQL database, and through the elog agent. And I have a manager system which actually takes care of task management and monitors the user, what they're doing. So for instance, here's an example of face recognition being used to determine, it's not face recognition, it's only detection. So it kind of tell who's sitting down at the computer. But so manager is a system for when you have to-do lists and you sit down at your computer, the computer should know what are your priorities and should tell you and make sure that you get them done. And I've never gotten that system. That right there is kind of the holy grail of the whole project, is the system that tells the user what they should be working on at a specific time. They give them options. They try to, these are what I think are in your best interests. You can do whatever you want, but I think based on all the things you've told me, I think this is probably, this distribution of items is probably what you want to be working on. And I actually can compute the joint entropy of what you're actually working on with what it thinks you should be working on to determine how well you are. That's actual working code. So, but like I say, I can't bring it up here because of X. I mean, I could try. Manager. Okay, so maybe not that. The score system was completely taken down. So that may or may not open up a window sometime.
It took like 5 minutes last time.
Okay. And plus, I haven't been doing anything on the system for the previous couple hours, so it's probably not going to show anything.
There it goes. You got to click it in the background. Use the left mouse button. There you go.